What's it, guys? This is cold-blooded. Sorry, having a quick stretch there. I just got back from university, but this is cold-blooded, and I'm coming at you with my second serious commentary ever. Today we're going to be watching a replay between God and DTS. So that's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully for you guys. Just as I said, just got back from university, so pretty tired at the moment. You know, got to grab myself a cup of tea, drinking robust tea. It's flipping amazing. If you guys don't get it wherever you guys are in the world, you should definitely try to get hold of some. But apart from that, yeah, keen to doing this game. I did tell you guys I'll be doing one commentary a week, so I'm keeping up to scratch with that. Unfortunately, definitely not going to be able to do 2 a week. That's just simply too hard at the moment. I've got too much law work on my hands. Studying law, doing like too many hours of reading a day, too much work per week. So I'm pretty stressed at the moment, but I do keep my promises, do keep my end of the bargain. So here we are going to be watching a match between God and between DTS. And so let's see what we've got over here. We've got God at the moment picking up the Invoker Invoker being banned simply because of his insane popularity in picks of recent. His ability to adapt to any role in the game. You can start playing off as a solo mid hero, transform into a disabler instead of some sort of extort quest build or extort wex build. You can rather transform it into a disabler, into some sort of support hero. So you can really change his role throughout the game, especially with a lot of levels and a lot of items. He really becomes a threat, especially in the late game, mid to late game. You can really lay down some effective DPS. Visage being banned here by God again, just because of her tri-lane presence. Soul Assumption being the most insane nuke in the game, in the early game. Doomring and Batrider being banned for quite obvious reasons. Doomring is just an insane hero because of his ultimate, also because he's got super good creeping ability and all those other reasons. And lastly, Batrider being picked up, probably because we're going to see maybe an SF pick over here. Batrider also just known for his roaming capabilities of recent. So that's something to mention. Another reason why I wanted to watch this game in the first place, it's not a recommended replay, I'll tell you that, but it's got DTS in it, and DTS were at one stage my favorite team. One of the pioneering teams of 5-man push strats, really cool, interesting, using new heroes, bringing new heroes into the game, bring Balinar, for example, into the metagame, that sort of idea. So that's really cool by them. So I'm just watching this game. Because I did see on Go-To Games that there was one specifically interesting pick, and I want to see how that turns out. So that's really why we're watching them. Got here banning Rexar because DTS, as I just said, have been known for their push strats, map control strats. So this Rexar is one of those heroes that fits very nicely into both those strats. So that's probably why he's being banned. Not only the fact he's a super good solo mid, and then Alchemist being banned here by DTS because of his amazing carrying ability and tanking ability. And this is 6.969 seed, like we can see in this by the layer of the taverns here, so he hasn't been nerfed yet, and so he will still be the insane pushing, farming, carrying hero. Sorry, having a sip of tea there, that he has been well, pretty much for most teams in the recent game phases. This is, sorry, I was just checking. This isn't on zoom mode, so I was just checking that out. Zoom mode's really nice if you want to watch replays. Kind of annoying if you're watching videos and things are zoomed out because you can't really see what's happening, but really nice for people who are actually watching replays and trying to see what's going on. But this is a Rocket Trust match. I think this is... I can't remember exactly, but I think it's a Rocket Trust game. I can't remember which round it is. But so it is between these two teams, so it is an important match, and we are going to see the first 3 picks going down to God are going to be the Morphling, really good carry at the moment, but I have had a big issue with the recent Morphling play and the way professional teams are playing Morphling, but I'll discuss that later and talk about new builds for him possibility. Lich here, Lich not given the boost that we've seen him pick up in the 6.71 era, but he still has that insane armor capability here, so it was nerfed in the new version, but in this version it's still really high, and that's going to be used out to full effect on this Pugna, on this Clockwork, on this Morphling over here, and that's really going to help this Morphling deal a lot of DPS, as well as this Pugna deal a lot of DPS against magical damage and survive those encounters. Furthermore, this Pugna here has also not been nerfed in this version, so we're going to see some really good push play, hopefully by this Pugna, because with his very high strength gain at the moment, he's such a good beefy pushing hero. And together these three by themselves can lay down very high effective magical and DPS damage. Okay, not so much DPS, physical damage in terms of DPS, but very high magical damage output, especially in the early game. So expect some very good and very high action early game play from God here if they're going to try and win this game. Being picked up by DTS is the Vengeful Spirit and Earthshaker. Vengeful Spirit best support hero in the game. Earthshaker the best initiator hero in the game at the moment. And this SF, well, it's an SF solo mid. Pretty cool. You see, it's a very standard thing you can see in these games. Very standard pick. Does fit in nicely into these sort of long range strats here. Swap, stuns, fissures, long range strategies, as well as pushing strategy. This minus armor strategy between this Vengeful Spirit and the Nevermore plus damage. So very nice synergy between all three of these heroes. So let's see how that works out for DTS. Another ban by God here has been that chain, fearing probably, I must say, fearing the push strat of DTS over here. So they're probably going to be wary of that. Maybe throwing a chain in there gives them not only mid game and late game superiority with this Nevermore, but also some high early game superiority with the chain, and giving this team some extra bonus survivability. So that's why he's being banned here. Trax being banned now by God as well. Also fearing that silence against this Morphling, against this Lich, against this Pugna, that silence will be devastating to them, as well as a BKB Trax will simply lay down a high amount of DPS damage in conjunction with this Nevermore, especially with the bonus damage auras of the Trax and of this Vengeful Spirit in combination. They will simply tear through the DPS capability of this Morphling in this game, and that's really going to be a nice ban being picked up there by God. Being banned here by DTS, we haven't seen any bans against counters to Nevermore, so maybe we're going to see one of those here, but we have seen the Windrunner being banned. Windrunner being banned just because it's a staple stick in most of the games that I've pretty much ever watched. And if you haven't watched the last MYM versus BP game I cast, I think it was playing on this Windrunner, was absolutely insane, and that Shackle Shot is pretty much the best spell in the game if you can land it correctly. Okay, maybe not the best spell in the game. Doom's probably the best spell in the game, but the Shackle Shot is very close and up there with the best spells in the game. And we do see a Puck being banned, so that is a counter to Nevermore, but the Clockwork has been picked up anyway. I do prefer the Puck as a counter to Nevermore, simply because you can spam his ore more, got better survivability and higher magical DPS output against an early game SF, but the Clockwork is a very good counter to SF. Especially if he gets a little bit of early farm, maybe in a tri lane, maybe in a solo lane, and then starts roaming against this SF. So we'll see how this works out. Also, this Clockwork is probably going to act as a bit of a tank with his Lich's armor. Going to be a good early mid game tank for God, and so that's going to allow the Pugna and this Morphling to try get up some farm, get up some kills, and lay down a lot of smack against this team over here. I'm not sure what the pick is going to be. It's very hard to counter pick a Clockwork in this sort of game at the moment. Clockwork, yeah, is a very good initiator, obviously, and he's a very good combo with Pugna and with Lich. If you manage to trap or get 2 or 3 heroes inside your cogs, Pugna can just blast them to smithereens. Lich can just lay down an ulti and GG. Basically, those heroes are definitely going to go down. That being said, not so sure that it's going to be the most effective pick, especially in the fact that we already have 3 solo lane players. Clockwork solo along lane, I haven't seen it be so effective in the recent games. And Clockwork solo mid, if he goes up against a solo mid Nevermore, I'm not so trustworthy of his ability, especially before level 6, to hold down that Nevermore, because if the Nevermore gets early game farm and gets some team support, then he's not. Then this Clockwork really isn't going to be able to initiate on him successfully, hold him down. We must remember that a lot of the element of surprise is lost if you're landing a Clockwork against a Nevermore, because you're obviously going to suspect that the Clockwork is going to try and hook onto him in the early game, or once he hits level 6. If, however, the Clockwork's in a top lane and leaves the lane, Nevermore's not really sure where he's going, and so if he gets hooked upon, that's going to be, that's a big element of surprise. But if he's in a lane, Nevermore is likely to suspect it, so it's not likely to be as effective. We do see an Omni Knight being picked up here, one of the very, very good counters to a Clockwork, because if Clockwork traps in his cogs, you just pop off a heal, 360 pure damage or whatever it is, and bam, Clockwork dead.